Well, hello and welcome to Take 10 with 4-H Senior Leadership Retreat. I am Cheryl Butterfield, the State 4-H Agent for Volunteer and Leadership Development. Today, we're going to look at one of our events to tell you a little bit more about our Senior Leadership Retreat, or it's also known as SLR. So what exactly is Senior Leadership Retreat? Who is it for? We're going to answer some of those questions. So first, who is it for? It is for our senior 4-H members, which those are youth involved in 4-H that are 13 and in the 8th grade to the age of 18. If you're unsure of whether you are a senior 4-H member, just check with your county extension office and they'll help you figure that out. What exactly is Senior Leadership Retreat? It is a 3-day leadership event held Friday through Sunday. That is typically held in January, the 3rd or 4th weekend in January, depends. It's been on 3rd weekend for a couple years now, so that's the weekend we try to aim for. Where is it held? Now, the location can vary because it alternates between Albuquerque and Las Cruces. How much? What is the cost for this particular event? Well, the cost varies from year to year. Just knowing that it is the effort of the State 4-H office to try to keep that cost as low as possible and not have a lot of varying from each year, to make sure it's something that youth can afford to come to and do their best to keep that cost low. So when you look about the Senior Leadership Retreat, who is involved in the planning of this? So with the State 4-H office and agents from across the state, we have our State 4-H leadership team who has a major role in the planning of our state events. This team provides leadership to statewide 4-H events for the youth component. And in that means they contribute to planning details, including theme, design, t-shirt selection, session script development, individual speeches, and workshop presentations. So talking about those things, you may not know how does those fit into what the schedule for Senior Leadership Retreat might look like. So let's talk a little bit about the components of Senior Leadership Retreat, or SLR. And I'll go back and forth between those two labels that we have for it, because it can get a little confusing when we start using our acronyms for everything. Our sessions, well, our sessions kick off Friday, and that is when we come together as a large group. It is youth-led. Our State 4-H leadership team takes the role in being the MCs. As I said earlier, they develop the scripts. They also provide inspirational speeches. Another thing they've added is to make interactive fun games for everybody to be involved in. That may include anything from Minute to Win It or 4-H Jeopardy. In the past, we've had representatives from each district that get to participate, and the youth work with the county extension agents to help get kids involved and represent those districts. So within our sessions, we also have motivational speakers, we have guest speakers, and we have some special guests. Given the opportunity, especially when we're in the Las Cruces location, we love to have our upper administration come and see all the wonderful things that our 4-H youth are doing. So we have a banquet, but this is actually our Saturday night session, and it is set up in a banquet setting. This is where the 4-Hers are asked to dress up for this session, to be a little bit dressier and to learn a little bit more, practice some etiquette skills. So we have a banquet setting, which actually has some of our guest speakers usually come to that particular session. But we also have some of our state winners recognized, and that is our state portfolio winners are announced at that time. To learn more about that particular contest, you'll want to, state portfolio submissions, you need to visit with your county extension agent. It's a wonderful opportunity to go on another trip representing 4-H. But those youth that work hard and win in that particular contest are announced at our state Senior Leadership Retreat. So the other components we've talked about were workshops. Well, workshops are offered starting Friday evening. So we start with a session and then we have workshops. The workshops Friday evening typically are based around these particular topics, and they're led primarily by a leadership team, but also we have a few other agents and volunteers that lead these workshops. But everything from self-esteem, confidence building, team building, communication skills, commitment, and goal setting, to name just a few. So those are the workshops Friday evening. Saturday, for the last 4 years, there's been an initiative to focus on careers and different parts and components of careers for our youth. So our Saturday workshops can rotate through a variety of things. We can have different guest speakers from the industry come in and talk about their career. We may have tours set up that the kids can travel to, or we may just have workshops that focus on resume writing and interview skills. So it's a whole variety, and those vary in terms of what exactly we cover based on the year. And for the last 4 years, we've been focusing, and sometimes when we rotate to Albuquerque, we may have tours. When we're in Las Cruces, we visit the campus and talk to professors about the different majors and what does it take to go into a certain field. The other pieces of Senior Leadership Retreat is community service. The leadership team selects a focus for Senior Leadership Retreat, and 4-Hers, individually or as a county, can bring items designated for that community service. As you see in the picture here, this was items they got for Operation Smiles or a derivative of that, not exactly that program, but what we did is collected toothpaste, toothbrush, dental floss, made care packets out of them, and then delivered those to places that could use them and share with people who may not have that readily available. So each year there is a community service initiative at Senior Leadership Retreat. The other part that the kids absolutely love are the dances. And the leadership team hosts 2 dances during Senior Leadership Retreat, on one for each night, Friday and Saturday night. And they designate a theme for that night. So the kids may want to wear neons, or they may want to wear NFR or National Finals Rodeo attire, but there's not anything that requires the kids. So those kids that might be a little more shy and not feel like dressing up, that is not a requirement. It's just a fun thing if they want to do that they can. So with all of that quickly shared with you, the place to go for more detailed information, as always, is your county extension office. And usually around October, early November is when the information for Senior Leadership Retreat the following January will be available. So thank you for joining me.